Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War CSA campaign 1.06. Okay, so in the last episode, we basically just did a bunch of campaign map stuff, did a little naval stuff down here in the Mississippi Delta area, and then right at the end, we got attacked again up here in Northern Virginia, and that is going to be the focus of this episode. However, before we get to that, just a couple things. Someone had made a comment, hey, did you remember to get the engineers building telegraph stations? And I honestly, when I saw that comment, I'm like, I don't know, did I remember? We built a telegraph station up here, and we can see now how that kind of cut this distance, and now we've got the direct line from Montgomery up to Nashville and toward Tennessee, much better than that big loop we had before. And then the first engineers came over to Helena, Arkansas, but I didn't remember if I'd gotten that telegraph station running or not. And it turns out, haha, I did. He is building a telegraph station at Helena. Okay, so these guys are remaining gainfully employed. Okay, however, when I went to look at that, so this is a good link here, but I had kind of forgotten, oh wait a minute, I took Old Dominion. Capital isn't at Montgomery, it's at Richmond. This is where the orders emanate from here, going to our armies. Not from Montgomery, as it has typically been in my previous CSA campaigns where I haven't taken Old Dominion before, and Montgomery is the capital. Okay, so now we have this still big loop that runs down this way, and I think I want a more direct link, kind of run down this main Appalachian Valley through Knoxville toward Nashville and Memphis. So I have set up another little engineering force who's going to come up here and build that line through here. And then I got to thinking, okay, so when I make these little engineering forces, I always use like a small infantry brigade because that's all that's needed. And the thought occurred to me, is that still overkill? What happens if I make a little engineering unit with a small horse artillery of 50 guys? I don't know if that works or not, but we're going to find out. So the second engineers is 50 dudes. I mean, it's considered a corps level command, but we got 50 guys that are going to try to build some telegraph up here. I don't know if that's going to work or not. You might need more troops than that. But we'll see. And it's our old buddy from the last campaign, Louis Hebert from Louisiana, who is an engineering officer. That's why I pick him. The CSA actually doesn't have too many engineering corps officers in their officer corps. Among the few it has are Robert E. Lee, so there's some high-profile names in there. I think Beauregard too, maybe? Obviously, I'm not going to have Robert E. Lee in charge of 50 dudes building a telegraph line. So we'll see if that works out. I just happen to have a horse artillery unit in Atlanta. I just had it there so that Bragg would always have at least one unit available under him, and therefore would never get disestablished inadvertently if I moved all of his recruited brigades somewhere else. So I've moved it here to Hebert, who formed at Macon, is on his way up to Chattanooga, and that his men, who are bringing some superfluous guns with them, he'll have those in about 3 days. Okay, enough about engineers. So, in the last episode, we had a couple of raid battles here off the Mississippi Delta, and the intent was to degrade the blockade fleet there enough so that they would stop blockading Biloxi, Mississippi. The battles were losses. They were expected to be. We just had some little tramp steamers, and that's it. And we lost some ships. And that was expected. However, we did degrade that fleet enough that Biloxi is not being blockaded anymore, at least for the moment. We'll see how fast they regain readiness and condition and start blockading again. Meanwhile, we did lose some ships. So, our raid run here, we had two, now we just have one. Because, I there weren't that many left between the two, so I just combined them. Their condition is terrible. They have no, they're all beat up. They're all under repair too. The best, there isn't, most of them are being repaired. So if we're going to continue this strategy, I need to build some more ships. Right? I mean, this was kind of a one-shot deal. We lost one of our raid runs, essentially. And this one is going to be ready to do it anytime real soon. So I decided I needed to build some more, reconstitute another raid run up here, and then when they get ready, they can do it again if needed. And then if not needed here, maybe they can go over and kind of do the same thing against the blockade squadron off Cedar Key or off of Texas. So I went into the naval here to build some more little fourth-rate steamers, which I didn't do yet. And I went in here and I started looking at these things, okay, and I looked at some of these other ships that I've never really played in the game with before, and I don't know if these steamers is the way to go. Let's look at a fourth-rate steamer here. It's small, it doesn't have any armor, and it costs 20. Side comment, looking at the cost of some of these things, there's a lot of things in 1.06 that came way up in cost compared to previous versions of the game. Or even, not even came up in cost, but a lot of new costs, right? There's new buildings which cost money we never had to spend before. Forts and supply depots cost a lot of money we didn't have to spend before, etc., etc., etc. Well, there's one thing that did not go up in cost but actually dropped significantly, and that is ships. At least old starters, old technology ships. Now, I built those 8 frigates earlier that are still building. They're about halfway done now. Okay. A 50-gun ship. Large, right? Now, it's old technology, right? I mean, this is 1812. This is War of 1812 stuff here. So we're talking 50-year-old technology. This is like the naval equivalent, rough equivalent of like the 6-pound field guns and mixed muskets. So it may not be too ridiculous. But you're getting a 50-gun ship that isn't, it's not ironclad, but it's not no armor either. There's this intermediate kind of timber class of armor. It's only 68,000. So I built 8 of these. I only spent, so what does that work out to be? I spent about 500K on those 8 frigates, which in the 1.06 economy, that's not a whole lot. Earlier, I had been kind of second guessing myself on what that might have been a really extravagant expense. I don't think it is, especially considering that our naval, the purpose of our naval effort is to clear these important ports and open up trade with Europe and Latin America and increase tariff revenue that way. I mean, that's kind of a big part of what I'm trying to do with the economic side of this game, and that's what our Navy is for. So I think that's probably a pretty good investment. And so I started looking at some of these other older sail vessels, and so on a fourth-rate steamer, we get 5 guns for $25K. So we're paying about $5,000 a gun if we're just talking about dollars for combat power. Now, it's not quite that simple, right? I mean, combat power also is about the armor of the ship and the quality of these guns. I mean, these are specific guns, and different ships have different types. So this is a very rough, incomplete approximation. But bottom line, we're paying about $5,000 a gun on a fourth-rate steamer. The deal is slightly better, just by a hair, with a third-rate steamer, 6 guns for $29K, which works out to like $4,800 per gun. And then we're at $5,000 a gun for a second-rate steamer, right? These are all non-armored ships. How about this sloop of war? We're getting 9 guns for $27K. That's $3,000 a gun, and this thing is timber armored, which means that when we go out and we do that raiding attack, it may, kind of be it may last a little longer, and the battle goes on a little bit longer, and the readiness of the enemy fleet further degrades before the inevitable defeat. I'm not, this thing isn't going to go out there and defeat one of those Union blockade fleets. Okay, but so I'm kind of looking at this as this may be more cost effective. Oh, by the way, what do we get for those frigates? We're getting a 50-gun ship at something like $1,400 per gun. Now, that's not the entire story either. There's also the wood cost, the iron cost. These things do place a demand on goods within our economy. But yeah, I think that's pretty darn good value there. But it also takes a while to build a frigate. How about these like barks and brigs? With a bark, you're getting 6 guns for $17,000, so that's less than $3,000 a gun. And then comes the brig. 12 guns at $21K, which is working out to less than $2,000 per gun as well. So my thought is, instead of going with these steamers, which was my first instinct and what I would typically do in the, that was I'm thinking brigs and sloops of war. And I'm going to try these things. $27,000 for one of these. $21,000 for one of these. Now, I like the sloop of war because it brings a little bit of some level of armor. Probably not very much, but better than none, which is what the steamers give us. At $3,000 per gun. And then I'm liking the brig because very low in all the resource costs as well. And I bet these things, I think these things build really fast. So as a, kind of in a throughput way of, okay, we need to get another, that raid run got beat up, let's go get another one. I'm kind of thinking brigs. So what I'm gonna do here is I am going to build 8 of each. I'm gonna build 8 brigs. And it's putting very little demand on our shipyard capacity as well. We have 55,000 in shipyard capacity. We're using 22,000 of it, so about 40%, and that's to build those 8 frigates, and some of it is also going, I think, to repairing some of those ships from the earlier battle. This is only adding 2,000, right? We can build scads of these. So let's build 8 brigs. And let's build 8 sloops of war. Which is a pretty... Now that is a pretty significant hit to our shipyard capacity. You know, we're paying... it costs over 5 times as much shipyard capacity for 8 sloops of war compared to 8 brigs. Let's go ahead and build those, and then we'll make some squadrons out of them and see how long it takes to build these things, and you know, go from there. I'm sure that there's people watching who did all, you know, they've been through all this and they know all this because they've done it. Well, I haven't. and I bet there may be a few viewers out there who have not. So let's see what happens here. Okay, enough about that. Same with the engineers too. I'm sure there's people going, "No, Bram, you can't do that," or maybe saying, "Yeah, of course you can use that horse artillery. Didn't everybody know that?" All right. So up here in Virginia, we have got. We've started besieging Fort Monroe, and I think this thing is somewhat in our favor. I think this is going to turn out well for us. At least it looks like it's going to at this point. So I think that's going all right. Then, to the matter at hand. So, we had a siege over here at Manassas. I decided, may not have, you know, it's a little bit too late now. In hindsight, I probably should have continued beating up on McClellan's army. I didn't. I sent Magruder down to besiege Fort Monroe, and I edged Beauregard over here to capture Alexandria, which he has done. Whereupon McDowell came down here and attacked us, and we are now in a siege battle with Beauregard and Johnston against what I assume is McDowell. Yes, it is. Now the total of these 3 Union armies together is something like 60-ish thousand. Let's see, there's 30,000 here with McClellan. So 23, so we're up to 53,000 here with McDowell. These are estimates. And 17, so that gets us 70,000 men in these 3 armies. If they combine in a battle, or this siege, well, our goose is cooked. We're just going to have to withdraw. Because we've got, at this moment, 13,000 in Johnston's and 14,000. So we've got 27,000 men here. Now, if a battle, but I think this is an opportunity to find out a fairly obscure mechanic, or at least for me, yet another, lots of people may know this already, I don't. So let's find out. I think there's an opportunity here to test something. If a tactical battle was initiated right here, then clearly McClellan would be within reinforcement range. Patterson, I'm not 100% sure because of the river, but Patterson might be within reinforcement range. But I think McClellan definitely is. Now he's got some attrition going on. He's not in the best of shape after his little retreat from the previous siege, but he's there. And I think he would get pulled in. And we'd have our 20-something thousand against over 50,000. However, this isn't a tactical battle. It's a siege. Now, right now, these guys aren't involved. It's just McDowell. And we have... It's pretty much parity. We've got a few thousand more men, but not many. I think it's 27,000 against his 23,000. If I flip this and initiate a tactical battle right now, the question is, would McClellan get pulled into that? Because we're not initiating a tactical battle. We're not initiating a tactical battle. If we did, I think he would. But we're converting a siege into a tactical battle, which is a little bit different. And he is not in the siege. So I'm not sure. But we're going to find out, because I'm going to convert this into a tactical battle, partially because I think that's my best option, but also partially because I'm genuinely curious to see if McClellan gets pulled into this, and possibly Patterson. If he does, I'm just going to retreat out of the battle. But if he doesn't, we're going to fight a tactical battle here and send McDowell on his way, hopefully, if he doesn't... And I don't want to let it drag on, because I don't want to let my morale degrade. Right now our morale is in kind of decent shape. We've got one brigade at nervous. We've got a few at stable. And then Johnston's guys are pretty... actually, Johnston's got an unstable here. So things aren't perfect for us. But the longer this siege goes on, the worse that this morale will degrade. Now that's true for the Union too. But matter of fact, overall, he looks like McDowell's in better shape, even though he has taken more casualties. But I'm going to go ahead and convert this, and we're going to see if we can get a battle where it's kind of a way to ensure that McDowell is isolated and doesn't have support. And what I think is important about this is, in this kind of situation where there's kind of multiple enemy armies or corps around, and one would rather fight one of them before the others can pile in, then maybe one possible tactic could be go in defensive stance, and then initially, when the first battle contact occurs, convert it into a siege. See how many forces are involved then, and maybe not all of those enemy armies are involved, and then convert that into a tactical battle. Might be a better way to go. And it wouldn't always work out, but anyway, so I've blathered on long enough about that. Let's get into this and see what happens. Taking the assault option. It says assault, but basically it's just converting it into a tactical battle. We might still very well get a defensive situation. So let's see. And we won't know until we get in there on whether or not McClellan is part of this battle. We'll have to look at the HQ reports and see if he's included. I kind of think neither he nor Patterson are going to be there. See, it's not even giving us the typical little messages about, McDowell commands X men. Beauregard commands Y men. Or Johnson, rather. Okay. Okay, so this is misleading. This little initial report typically doesn't tell you, doesn't include reinforcements in this. It just tells you what's on the field right now. So let's look at that. Union, how many men you bringing? Aha! Okay, so we've got a modest manpower advantage in this battle. Just modest, it's not huge. Well, what's going on here? Oh, Johnston. Well, Johnston will be here pretty quick. 2 hours, not a big deal. You should take a look, however, where is Johnston coming from? So we're starting here. We're on the Manassas map, surprise, surprise. We're starting over here by the McLean. It is giving us an attacking situation. The objective is in the center, Matthews and Henry Hills. Okay. Where is the federal entry point? Here and here. Looks like those are the only ones. Okay. But if we're in an attacking situation, then these are already blue. So they're within his deployment zone. He's going to have a defensive position here. And generally speaking, this terrain all through here is usually pretty good for defending. Even if the AI doesn't, even if you know, AI McDowell doesn't particularly set up a good position. You know, he'll probably have a pretty good one, even if it's by accident. Is what I'm trying to say. And we are starting at the. Our entry point is the Alexandria entry point, coming from that way, which makes sense. That's where we were. We do not have our cav. It says withdrawn from battlefield, but I think that's more Stewart's cav was coming up from Atlanta. I just don't think he's arrived yet. That's all that is. Okay, Johnston is arriving from the direction of Warrenton. And this says 3 hours. Report says 2 hours. OOB says 3 hours. They're usually an hour different. Where is the Warrenton? Looks like it's down here. No. That isn't even an entry point. That's not it. I don't know why it's included in our deployment zone. Is this it? Yeah. So Beauregard starting here. Johnson is going to be coming here, and this is a good demonstration right here. Armies can be scheduled to arrive by uncontrolled entry points. Okay, so we're kind of separated here at opposite sides. Well, we know we're not going to want to come into this area across Bull Run. So we're definitely going to set up on this side of the river. And no matter which way we come at Henry and what was the other one? Matthews Hill. No matter which way we come, it's not going to be the best possible ground. But let's at least try to take water, meaning Bull Run, out of it. So I think probably set up down here, come on over this way, and come up the Manassas Sudley Road through here, And then Johnston will be coming in over here. And he can come right down the Warrenton Turnpike, like so. Yeah. Okay. So there's some marching to do. Got to get set up. Got to move on over here. Got to wait for Johnston to show up. That'll be mid-afternoon. Get him all set up. Get him advancing. So got a little bit of marching and organization and deployment to do, and I will be back. Right, so we have some developments. Beauregard's army marching up these two roads over here, as discussed. And, you know, don't have any cavalry in Beauregard's army yet. There's some recruiting, but doesn't have them. Well, actually, Stewart's cav is on the way, but in the absence of cavalry, just detached a few skirms, come up here, have a look around, and they have spotted the federal position, and it's fairly interesting in that, so there's two objectives, and he's deployed back here, on, you know, on Matthews Hill, or by Matthews Hill, and is essentially conceding Henry Hill. Okay, so I think we're going to be able to establish ourselves here. And this looks like pretty good artillery ground up here. And now we just have, you know, 6-pound field guns, but I think they can reach over. Meanwhile, if you look at this, Johnston is just now entering the battle over here, kind of behind the federal right flank. Aha! So I think the strategy kind of recommends itself here. We'll establish ourselves in here with Beauregard's guys, probably put some artillery here on the slope of Henry Hill, if we can find a decent spot for it that's within range. Some of his brigades can just be here, and that's essentially just a kind of a fixing force. I'm not going to attack into him. He doesn't, you know, there's creeks through here. There's some fences. He doesn't have any fortifications. But I would not want to attack directly into this. You know, they've got some woods cover, some fence cover. Not digging that. But we need some brigades over here to kind of, you know, keep them honest. And then we'll move at least a division over here, cross Young's Branch out of range, you know, and then we'll set up over here on the federal left flank with those guys. We can take control of the Matthews Hill objective. AI McDowell is not going to like that very much. And then we'll just get Johnston's army kind of set up over here, get them all nice and you know, organized and in line and everything, and then he can advance right here into the federal right. And meanwhile, I think Johnston does have some cav. Maybe. Does he? No. Well, maybe Hampton just hasn't. They're coming onto the field now. Not everyone has actually entered the map. Anyway, so still a lot of marching to do and everything, but that was a pretty good update to how this battle is going to shape up. It is already 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is October, which means 7 p.m., 1900, is when dusk will end today's activities. So I don't know if there's going to be much fighting on day 1. But I think we should be in a pretty good position to have a nice deployment zone to haul right into the battle on the morning of day 2. And unless something unusual happens and there's some significant fighting later on today, the morning of day 2 is probably when I will come back. Well, it is not day 2 yet, but we've had a little bit of a development. I was just slowly kind of getting my armies in place. You know, Johnston over here, Beauregard down here on Henry Hill. And there's only 2 hours left until nightfall. But McDowell decided he ain't waiting. Just now, all these guys broke from position and are coming across Young's branch. I guess the idea is he's going to try to defeat Beauregard before Johnston, kind of looks like, now whether he actually is or not, it's different, but, it's kind of playing out as if McDowell realizes what's happening and he's trying to do something about it before he's fully trapped. Anyway, so there's a federal advance coming now, and my guys aren't really fully in position, so we got a little bit maybe of a mess about to happen here. So let's get time rolling. Well, hold on a minute. First thing I want to do is I'm going to advance AP Hill just a little bit up into this bit of wood just behind Chin's branch. About like that. I think that'll do. That's a little bit. Looks like Bonham's going to get hung up with his edge of his brigade on the fence there. Let's do just kind of straight ahead. That's fine. Okay. Longstreet was already moving up into this position. I think I need to move him further forward onto the crest of Henry Hill. That's a little bit too far to the right. Okay, I think that'll do. And Ewell still needs to form into line. Kind of think I want him on this fence up here, just in front of the Robinson house. First I need to get him into line. And he's kind of up here in a... That creek may mess with Hood's brigade. Let's go ahead and do that though. Let's put him in double line. That'll put one brigade in reserve, and I think a 2-brigade front will be a little bit easier to manage through here. Let's do that. Meanwhile, I'm going to get some skirmishers kind of out here to delay the federal advance while our guys get a little bit better into position. I didn't realize McLaws had been wounded. That may have occurred in the siege just before this battle. I'm not sure. I missed the message. I'm not sure exactly when that happened. Meanwhile, we can get Johnson's guys coming forward a little bit more. Let's move Jackson's division kind of up into the edge of these woods on this side of the creek, about like that. Let's move Kirby Smith some great terrain through here for movement. I want them on this fence, but then there's a creek running through here too. So whoever's, you know, sitting here is, yeah. Okay. And up here we have Robert Rhodes. Let's move him up here onto kind of on the edge of these woods just below Duggan's Ridge, like so. As well as kind of want Johnston's artillery back up in here. Let's move him about like this for now. There is one battalion in here that's got 10-pound Parrots. So even back here, I think they're going to be able to range some federal units. We'll see. Crap, I forgot to order Pemberton's artillery. Okay, they're on the reverse slope of this Henry Hill. I think we need to get them up a little bit. They're going to be right in here on Longstreet's flank. I'm going to pile them pretty close together. Let's get these skirms down here in creek cover. Get these skirms over here on this fence. It's a good place for them. Yule hasn't got his order to put his guys in line yet. Let's get these skirmishers up here in these woods. Fence. Okay, hopefully the artillery can get some vision on some stuff from up here. These are all smooth bores up here on this hill. They may still be a little bit too far back behind the military crest, which is a term that means not necessarily the highest point of the hill, but the point where there's the best field of view. Still forming up here. Let's get Pemberton over here right by his battalions. Okay. Oh, yeah. They got shots. I think. Maybe not. Pickett and McLaw's brigades are going to be pretty tuckered out when they get up here, marching uphill through woods, having just crossed a fence. Okay. Not all these guys are rifle armed over here. We got 2 musket brigades. Walker does have Springfields, or they all have Springfields, but Walker's got rifles. They're all kind of disrupted and a little tired as well. Just get this, let's get Pelham's artillery just right here in this open ground. Well, maybe he isn't attacking. Maybe he was just kind of reorienting his position, having seen Johnston on his flank. If he is, I mean, he's kind of putting himself down in this little ravine through here. Looks like the artillery's got some nice shots right down here at this road intersection along this creek. But I want to take their artillery out of play. I'm going to give these guys counter battery. I don't know if they're going to be able to see anything from back here. This is kind of what I was talking about. This is higher ground over here, but there's this little dip through here and another little ridge in this area. What is that? Is there an unspotted? That can't be right, can it? An unspotted artillery battalion here? Kind of looks like it. McBride, send your skirms over. There he is. There's even a symbol there. Why aren't we getting a NATO? Here, send your skirmishes over to investigate this. Seems odd would not be spotted. I mean, we're seeing the shots. And we're even seeing an icon on the battle map. That almost feels like there may be kind of a bug going on there. I don't know if there's any actual artillery here. Well, the game thinks there is. Okay, I don't want 2nd Brigade obscuring, so I'm just going to tell Pickett to stop. And I think McLaw's position over here is fine. Okay, meanwhile, it's kind of easier to see what's going on up here. Yeah, no, we got an advance coming here, that's for sure. Okay, we've got Jones on the fence here. I'm going to move him over just a little bit to give Walker a little bit more room over here. Hopefully he doesn't completely mess up his... No, he's got to stay where he is, pretty much. They just got a short-term routed unit nearby, and that's just the skirm that was in front of them. That'll clear fairly soon, I think. I think Jackson can use... No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want Johnston's guys to get too strung out left to right. Keep our guns working on this battalion here. Let's just move Pickett about like so. Let's get McLaws to kind of get about like that. Skirms go in that little house? No, they cannot. Will this count as cover for them, though? Maybe. We'll find out. No, they don't want to move. Well, but he can help persuade that artillery to go away. And then work on the next artillery. send pickets, skirms to do the same thing, but I don't want them getting in front of this artillery and messing up their LOS. Okay, they're done. Okay, we got artillery counter-battering on that battalion. Good deal. Okay, yeah, there wasn't anything up here. Here, go back in front of your brigade. Well, we got 6-pounder field guns in action up here. These guys are firing. Parrots are just about in position. I think they're going to have plenty of shots from back here. Let's get McBride over here, close enough to support the artillery if needed. And we'll move Bait up here. Notice these guys were musket brigades in the last battle, but we captured some, so these guys got rifles now over here. I think over here, right on the objective itself, next to the house, would be a better spot for our artillery. They're doing good work right now on, and there's only about a half hour left, so let's just let them continue working on this guy. See if we can enter day 2 with 2 federal battalions out of the mix. Yeah, okay. Let's give all these guys counter battery as well. No, not those guys. Hit. Skirms are being a little wonky there. Okay. I thought there was a fence here. It's not even showing up on the... Yeah, there's a fence that isn't really showing on the map. The paper map. That's interesting. Ew. He is taking some... Okay, he's taking some unanswered fire. We don't want that. We've learned our lesson with that. Come on back here. There's no reason for you to just sit there and take casualties. Unfortunately, Hood just has muskets too. Doesn't do any good to put him up on that line. I think we want Walker on the fence, but we've only got 15 minutes left. We're going to be redeploying real soon anyway. I think I'm just going to lay Walker down. Not doing any combat with infantry tonight. It's mainly an artillery show. And how are we doing on this battalion here? Yeah, he's getting some attention. If I could just get these skirms to fire on him. Jeez. No, I don't want you firing at the brigade, although you're doing some good work there. I want you on these guys. See, that fire order requires him to move. And because he's already engaged with something else, he's just not going to respond to that. He's going to continue his current engagement. Which is just kind of the way it goes. Now what I could do, how about we just pull him back? Well, hell. Okay. So get up in here. Walker's, and they're making a proper attack here. We've only got a few minutes left. Okay. Walker's got forest cover. These guys... This 1st Brigade, they have... Okay. Alright. Well, so there was a little bit of action there at the end of the first day. Got some artillery stuff going on. Yeah, would have been nice to have gotten rid of this battalion as well, but he has taken some losses. So I got some redeployment to do, and I will be back for the morning of day 2. Okay, here we are on the morning. For some reason, time is running in deployments. That's weird, but it's the morning of day 2, 7 o'clock in the morning. 13 minutes of run without leaving deployment zone. I don't know how that happens, but it does sometimes. Combat hasn't actually started yet. Anyway, you can see the shape of the deployment zone that resulted from our positions at sunset, and therefore the plan is pretty obvious. Right. Beauregard's guys down here. I've got all the rifle armed divisions kind of along this little sort of defensive line here. There's some fencing. I put up a few little breastworks. So 2 brigades have breastworks, 2 brigades have fences, and so the initial engagement is going to be right in here. Yule's guys are mostly musket armed, and so they're kind of over here refusing the flank a little bit on the other side of the creek. And I think my idea is that maybe they can push up through here into a closer range engagement where their muskets will be better. But for the moment, they're just kind of sitting there for the time being. These skirms are... I don't even know where Bonham is. Where is Bonham? Bonham is right here. So let's see. What if I just put Bonham skirms in front of them? Will you go there? Okay, that's better. And then I just move the position of the artillery a little bit. I did not realize that they did take some counter battery yesterday, and have all these guys took a little bit of counter battery before dusk. These guys didn't. That's actually Longstreet's artillery. To the point where it looks like we left some guns over here. So that stinks, but I think they gave better than they got, and they're going to continue bombing here in just a moment. Meanwhile, Johnston's guys are all got them up close to or on the deployment zone line. The artillery position looked perfectly fine right where it was, so I'm leaving them right there. And they'll be advancing here shortly. Let's get time rolling. Okay. Pickett engaged. Evans engaged. Somehow, no. Get your facing right there, Bob. Pull those damn pickets in. They're just in your way now. Okay, that looks better. Bob's over here helping to take this artillery out. Good deal. Artillery up here is banging away. Let's get, what about these guys? Yep. These 6-pounders are going here. That's Jackson's artillery. I should start advancing these guys up. You know, slow advances. If I give them a long-range order, they're going to get all messed up in these fences. We're just going to tell them go fence by fence, keep things organized. That battery's taken almost 50% losses. It can't last for much longer. Yeah, okay. Who is that? That's Bonham. Yeah, Bonham's got cover there. These Federals have cover too, but I think they've... Well, I don't know. I don't know if they've got forest cover or creek cover there. Let's rotate Evans and see if he can get some shots down there. Do we have any skirmishers over here? I think we should. Here. Let's go over here and shoot at this battery. Yeah, Evans is banging away at those guys. Sherman's falling back. Visual Richardson is coming up here. Pickett, turn to face him. McLaws 2, or McLaws staff officer, since McLaws is apparently wounded somewhere. Okay. Let's get McBride and Bate to move up to this next position. Kirby Smith to come up to kind of... I don't like that. I'm going to go brigade by brigade. See if we can get Donaldson to here. Early to here. That's weird. It's very weird. He's still trying to come here, I guess. Johnston up to here. Evans. Get your flank exposed. Let's just change your facing a little bit. See if that does it. Looks better. Okay. Okay. Let's push Hood's division right up on these guys. Jones may get kind of hung up in this creek a little bit. I think it'll be all right. Okay, who's this? 4th Brigade. Israel Richardson falling back. Militia Brigade is coming up. They gave us a bit of trouble in the last battle. The last tactical battle. Well, laws. There we go. Early's having a little bit of a pathfinding problem in all those fences down there. Artillery up here still firing? No? No? No. Huh. What if... Okay, so that position has pretty much become obsolete. I'm not really seeing any other good ones. How about up in here? Facing that direction. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see how it works out. Pelham. Bring your boys. Not like that. They may have shots, they may not. We'll just have to see. Just as he finds a shot. Great. Where actually is Johnson? Hey Johnson, why don't you come up here? There you go. Where's Beauregard? Yeah, Beauregard's in a decent spot. I think he can give orders from there just fine. Okay, is anybody in trouble? Jones really shouldn't be. He's not in any new trouble, but from yesterday, probably ought to be in the back. Let's go ahead and advance Hood up to this fence. Walker here. Looks like Buckner didn't get orders to move up. Meaning I forgot to tell him to do something. Uh-oh. Let's get Buckner over here. Donaldson in cover. Not yet. He will be momentarily. Go ahead and pull Donaldson's skirms in. Let's push early up into this. Let's get Kirby Smith up here next to his brigades. Bartow's on his way. Guy. Okay, this battalion doesn't have any shots anymore. Nope, yeah he does. No, he doesn't. Number up. Let's push Alexandria Johnson in about here. Bartow right behind him. Jackson right in between them. I don't know where this artillery is going to find. Let's bring them over here. About like so. It'll take them a while to get there, but I think it looks like a pretty good spot. It's all going to turn pretty academic here pretty quickly. Alright, John Bellhood, go do what you do best. Advance. Right up into here. Evans and Bonham still finding shots from back here. Okay, Jackson's advanced back here, having the desired effect, I think. Donaldson's in cover now. Push Jubal early through these woods. Let's push Donaldson through these woods. Units falling back are running into Rhodes' division. Brigade is caught between Allegheny Johnson on one side and McLaw's brigade on the other. He's not having a good day at the office. Well, Hood's kind of unsupported there. Let's move Longstreet's division up to the Let's move Walker up on Hood's flank. Bring Jones up behind. Okay. Little retreat action going on here. We got 57 minutes. I don't even know what the casualty situation is here. 4,400 to 17. So what is that? About 2.5 to 1. He's at 19%. As soon as Hood lines up here, he's going to put a volley into. That's probably going to break him. It should. Let's see what happens. Well, it wasn't really focused. He's dividing his fire between these two units. It's probably okay. Change his spacing just a little bit, if he'll do it. Well, these guys had orders to move up. Bonham's moving up. Evans isn't. Come on, Evans, get in there. baits up a little bit. Brian looks like he's in a fine position, just right where he is. Okay, we're at major victory right now, which will be our first of the war, by the way. The first two tactical battles were minors. I don't really want to take any more casualties than I have to. Walker kind of over like, that's messy. Okay, that brigade is done. Just going to start working on this other brigade here, which is tired, down in the creek bottom. Shouldn't take that much for them to break. No, he's in melee with these guys. May capture a few guys. So right in here are the remaining unbroken. Everything over here is broken already. I mean, these guys have kind of done what they can do. What is the story with Bonham? Not Bonham, Evans. I don't know. So Bonham's guys are up to 5 stars, which means even though he's 5 stars too, and probably has great stats, they're probably going to hate him. Oh, he's got a perk. I like Iron Discipline. You know what? No. Let's go Sharpshooters. My plan is to go Sharpshooter for Mississippi Rifle armed brigades, and Iron Discipline for others. Who's still here banging away? So's Walker. Okay, well, we at least got you straightened up. Now let's just see if we can get you on the other side of the fence first. Will you do that? Evans. They're a Zouave unit. They came at the campaign start with that particular. I didn't choose that. I may have to swap weapons around. Arm this brigade with something else. I don't think that's a beta. That perk doesn't seem like something that just gels with Mississippi's. Okay. So now that we've got you responsive again, how about you move up to here? There you go. Oh! AP Hill's been wounded. That sucks. Okay, so there's the Hill wounded. I was just checking to see if anyone else had been wounded that I hadn't noticed. ride to here. We've only got 15 minutes left in this battle. Oh, we're up to 28%. Oh, we're up to 2,500. Wow. 65 to 25. So we're maintaining about that 2.5 to 1 ratio. Which isn't, you know, we've done better in past campaigns. For this campaign, that is enormous. It's a heck of a lot better than the first two tactical battles. And this is, you know, so. So hopefully that'll ding McDowell's readiness a little bit more, and it'll take a little bit longer for him to come back and give us problems here. Okay. Alright, Hood. Finish off this brigade here. Or not. Oh, he's still in melee somehow. Melee's weird in this game. I don't think I'm saying anything that everybody doesn't already know. Alright. Okay, well, we lost 2,600 men. We lost 6 guns. There was some counter battery there toward the end of day 1, actually. And 2,500 infantry. So not super great there on these losses. But obviously we did quite well. 7,000 losses from McDowell's army. Roughly 30-ish%. Lost all of his guns. So hopefully we pick up a few more parrots here from captures. I am curious to see how our artillery did. Well, first of all, Johnston's artillery, well, 142 from back there at their pretty, I mean, in range, but fairly long distance position. That's not too bad. So Johnston's guys, I mean, you know, they contributed. They contributed. And then in Beauregard's army, kind of thought they might have done more. Their overall casualties inflicted isn't that high. It's not bad. I mean, it's 2 battalions of 6-pound field guns, and I think there's 1 battalion of 12-pounders in there. 12-pound field guns, not Napoleons. But he had them on counter battery, and 100 casualties inflicted on enemy artillery. And with the size of artillery units, that's pretty substantial. So yeah, they did a pretty nice job. AP Hill's division, that was the 2 brigades armed with Mississippis. 2,800 casualties inflicted. That seems about right. And I'm going to guess that Bonham did the majority of those. Yeah, 1st Brigade. That is Bonham, right? It is. And they've become the first 5-star brigade in the Army. So Bonham's kind of shaping up to be the early superstar in the Confederate military. Or one of them, for sure. Okay. Can't think of anything else to have a look at. HQ reports before we exit. I don't think we had anybody route. Shouldn't be anybody defamed out of this. I'm curious to see who comes out of this with maybe a fame boost. Probably Pemberton. Or maybe nobody. There's not a guaranteed fame buff every time. Seems like there ought to be, at least for a major victory. If it's considered a major victory, somebody ought to come out of that, you know, with their name in the newspapers, for crying out loud. Okay. So Captain Crook, Federal, loses face. He's a captain, so that's one of the Federal battalions, artillery battalions. Wow. So we had some melee in there, but only 14 captured. Okay. Speaking of captured, I spent a lot of time monkeying around with POW camps in the last campaign. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that in this campaign. I'm not going to build any POW camps for the simple reason that their capacity is such. It doesn't seem to be worth the investment, which is a little disappointing. It's kind of a neat idea. It's a new building. It's a new feature in the game, and I just have a hard time seeing that it's worth the money spent on those things. I don't know. Do you agree? Comments? Leave a comment. What do you think about the POW camps in 1.06? You know, do they really need more? They're low capacity. I wonder if maybe that's intentional, because it should be really, really, really costly to house a bunch of POWs in significant numbers under adequate conditions, right? You feed them, they have a roof. You don't have thousands of them dying from malnutrition and disease. There's some minimal medical care. So maybe it's supposed to be that way, right? And then the other option is you just build the one silly little POW camp and just let it overcrowd. And you get, you know, like an Anderson or an Elmira. And, you know, you're not spending a lot of money on it, and you are keeping a lot of POWs from re-entering the enemy's manpower pool. You're just paying that public opinion penalty, which is resulting in higher state support. So maybe that's kind of what the whole mechanic is driving you toward. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. 4,000 rifles. Good. We probably need those. And 15 more artillery. So we're not going to advance time. We're at the end of the episode, but let's see if we can have a look. And what did we capture? Well, we got some more Hall's carbines, more than we did last battle. Slowly moving toward maybe actually being able to use these. All of our 24-pound howitzers have been... These aren't captures. I ordered these. So all the 6-pound field guns, I think, are about to be replaced. No change here. We did get a few more parrots. Not enough to equip another battalion, but we did get a few there. And yeah, I think we got a few more Springfield rifle muskets. We got enough for at least one for sure. Maybe I might be able to squeeze 2 brigades out of that. 3,700. Still got some fairly small brigades here and there. No change here. Got some Model 1817s. Those have to be captured. I certainly didn't. I don't think these can even be researched. I think these are just game start weapons, and nobody can actually ever produce these. Yeah. Yeah, nothing else is jumping out at me. A few parrots, not enough for a unit, and I think we got a few Springfield rifles and another little tiny bit of Hall carbines. And with that, that will do for this episode. If you like what we're doing with the channel, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe. But at any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.